Paper was like gold in medieval times.
Oh, not tobacco. Sugar.
That everything we thought we knew about the world might turn out to be completely wrong.
Want to know how to design a kitchen with an adjoining room so they work together without breaking the bank? We'll show you how, right now. Great design comes from a winning formula. Mine is as basic as a set of building blocks. Put them together, add up the results, and you've got a sensational room. Today's case study is Vernon and Kim's cramped kitchen, which has its challenges. I'm going to show you how customizing it and opening it up to the adjacent living space can give you more room than ever for fabulous meals, added versatility, and storage.
My, what an interesting layout this kitchen has, Thomas.
This is nuts.
Expanding the kitchen into that adjacent room would help make the layout much more functional.
Oh. Okay.
That's how you do it, Tom.
Do you know how serious
The kitchen works against all logic with little room and even less flow.
Nothing fits.
I really want efficient storage, a well laid out kitchen, new countertops, something that just says wow.
I really want the kitchen to be a place where we're not afraid to entertain and have people over.
Our plan is to create an inviting, functional kitchen by customizing standard, out-of-the-box elements. The place to start is with the layout.
I would create a peninsula that would come out from where the railing is, because then you could have traffic flow that would go around. And maybe some more cabinetry for a whole lot more storage.
Yeah.
Could we remove that wall to open the space up a little bit more?
While we're at it, we're going to be removing all the walls, so why not?
You think we're taking out these walls?
Well, we have to figure out what to do with the space in front.
We need a really fresh idea here.
Yeah.
Here's our list for this cramped kitchen and lounge. The kitchen needs sensible layout and new cabinets, plus lots of storage and new counters. Both the kitchen and lounge need better lighting, uplifting paint colors, and new flooring. The lounge needs furniture and fabrics, drapery, and accessories to unify and customize these important spaces.
So let's say you know you want to inject some color. Where do you look for a jumping off point? You can always look to your counters, especially if you're going with something fun. Here's my countertop sample. This is laminate. Look at the pattern though. I can pull a whole collection of colors out of this. I've got greens, grays, light shades, dark shades. This is gonna run me $36 a linear foot installed with a custom edge profile. Stone, on the other hand, $125 a linear foot, up to $200. This is a quarter the price. It's gonna be awesome.
Once you're inspired by countertops, next stop is cabinetry. And for a small kitchen, it's all about storage. Inexpensive storage.
Whoa.
That's just crazy. I like the glass and steel, always have, always will, because I think it adds a nice modern element to it. And then there's white.
Always a favorite.
The key to creating a kitchen that's out of the box and off the rack is taking available elements and customizing to create exactly what you want. Problem with white is a cheap white kitchen looks like a cheap white kitchen.
Right.
To take this to the next level, I think you have to be willing to do something that is a little bit more out there and a little bit more daring. I want a combination of white. I'd like a little bit of the glass and steel, and then I'd like to look at our countertop selection, and I would like to pull a color of my choosing.
And I like this green. It's bright and fresh. Hey, if you want color and impact in your kitchen, I say go for it. All I'm doing is painting a few doors in green, and they can easily be removed, resprayed, and changed to any color in the future. It's about $80 for a gallon of lacquer and about $20 per door panel.
I can't do math, so if you say the math works, then I'm fine with it.
And off the rack doesn't have to mean cookie cutter. You can still design your kitchen to your specs. All you need is the exact dimensions of your space. The program doesn't allow you to insert a cabinet or appliance that doesn't fit. It's certainly working for this kitchen.
I'm eliminating that railing. It's useless right now, and we need to create some great storage. I'm using 2 full-height pantries flanking the ends. A 5-foot-long peninsula is gonna project out, running a different direction than the way that little island is running now, so we still get great flow around the end. Next, let me show you the opposite wall. The fridge is going where the stove used to be. The stove is gonna move to be centered on that wall, and the sink will go on the far end.
When rejigging a kitchen layout, don't forget to leave room for major appliances, whether keeping what you have or looking for something new. Another important goal is to create designated workspaces. Once you have your color scheme and layout decided, it's time to extend the palette to any linking rooms. In this case, the lounge.
I've been letting my fingers do the shopping.
Okay.
And I've found us a very attractive love seat. I don't think we have room to actually do a sofa.
I agree.
With a slipcover, $539. And what I was thinking of is doing it in the white denim.
As long as you're slip covering it and we can throw that in the wash for family living, white is totally fine. It's the only way that I would ever do white.
Right. How would you feel about also having a green chair?
Like we can get that already in green?
Yeah. So for $329, again with a slipcover.
Another way to tie one color into 2 adjoining rooms is with accent pillows.
In this modern contemporary kitchen, I gravitate more towards something that's a little bit of a graphic.
I think the geometric goes beautifully with the countertop. I like the green velvet.
Plush.
Cotton velvet is the right choice, and I think it's nice to have some pattern, some plush. So then if we need one more, what's the last fabric? Is it the ECAT?
I think the green one is nice. Kind of ties it all together. It's softer.
1 plush, 1 bold graphic, 1 textural print.
The fabrics, cabinetry, and counter create a seamless color palette. Both spaces will seem like one room.
Done.
Okay, let's get those sewn up.
In unifying this kitchen and living area, we started with the counter as a jumping off point. Then we made the kitchen layout make sense.
So we still get great flow around the end.
Then we tied it into the lounge with accents. Next, we look up at lighting and down at floors. We're uniting a cramped kitchen with an adjoining living area.
I would create a peninsula that would come out from where the railing is. Maybe some more cabinetry?
Yeah.
To make it work, we're using out-of-the-box cabinetry, inspiring and inexpensive countertops, and tying both spaces together with some great fabrics. We've torn out the kitchen and opened up the walls.
Oh, I love demolition.
Time to talk lighting.
Opens it up quite a bit, doesn't it?
Does. The right lighting is what adds to the mood and the ambiance in a room, even in a kitchen. 1 pot here, 1 pot here. First, I assign task lights or pot lights to all the dedicated work zones. 1 in each corner, 24 inches in, so we've created a nice grid.
Which compensates for the thickness of your upper cabinets, right?
Perfect. And then I try and install something that will add decorative design impact above a peninsula or an island. Hey, touch of green?
I love enamel shades.
They're vintage. They're cool. They're only about $100. Of course, you're gonna have them rewired, but basically you're into them for $150. That's a great overall lighting statement that's gonna help hold the room. When you're looking for decorative lighting, you want it to tie into the mood that you're trying to create. Well, our countertop has a kind of retro vibe. These industrial fixtures happen to have one of the exact same greens, so I think these two are a match made in heaven.
Sometimes, no matter how much you open a space up, it's still dark. To find light, you have to look a little harder.
What's with this wall here? Because this is not supposed to be here.
We had discussed having a bit of a peekaboo here.
Right.
Well, that's not possible because kids could jump over into the foyer.
In design speak, peekaboo simply means cutout. We've got to keep looking.
We could just have a clear story at the top so that any of the light that's coming through from the skylight could still transmit into the kitchen.
Not a bad idea, if I might say. As the clear story or cutout and new wall are framed in, Tommy and I still have some last-minute tweaking to do.
We can't use this.
Why not?
because we've removed the bulkhead in the kitchen and there's nowhere to hide the guts of this thing so that it vents out the building.
Okay, we wanted to get rid of the bulkhead altogether, but the fact of the matter is there's existing ductwork.
Right.
So if we just ran a small bulkhead along the one wall where the vent hood will be installed,
Right.
we can then put the vent hood wherever we want along that wall, tied into a bulkhead. That way we get a proper functioning vent hood and the great look we want.
So the bulkhead comes back.
The bulkhead comes back.
The force that unifies any two spaces can be found in paint. The backdrop for this kitchen is gray, which ties nicely into the green and white theme. Next comes a floor solution that reinforces in a different way.
I've tallied the total square footage between the kitchen and the lounge area. Altogether, it comes to 260 square feet of flooring that we need.
So that's both rooms together.
You got it.
Okay.
So I think we need to unify them with a single flooring material. The question is what to use.
Okay.
Here we have basically the cheapest and easiest thing to lay down is a
Sure.
1x2 tile. We can do a brick pattern, an ashlar pattern. We have some porcelain and we have some natural stone. So $4.50 a square foot.
Yeah.
Then we have,
Quite sensational, stunning stone.
well, the Cipollini marble only comes in a 12x12,
Okay.
but it's $11 a square foot
Right.
versus
$4.50 a square foot, which
looks
is
like concrete.
still pretty nice.
Okay, so it's $1,677 less to install the porcelain. On top of that, there's about a $500 installation difference.
Really?
$2,177 cheaper to go with the porcelain versus the striped marble. Do you love this marble? $2,200 more?
For sure the cheaper.
Okay.
As much as paint can unify spaces, it has to be the right shade.
Wow. Is this the color?
Looks like army fatigues. I was looking to go with gray, kind of the color of the floor.
Floor looks great.
Floor looks awesome. Walls look terrible.
It's a beautiful color. It's just not right with the floors.
Yes, sir. I chose the wrong color. Well, if I'd looked at the deepest shade on the color chip, I would have seen that it had a kind of greeny brown read to it instead of a gray. What I should have done was look at a paint chip that had a steely gray and then lighten up from there. I would have had a winning color to start with.
We don't often screw up, but when we do screw up, we do it really, really big.
This custom out-of-the-box kitchen and lounge are being brought together with lighting.
They're vintage, they're cool.
Add flooring and eventually the right shade of gray. Next, it's drapery, furnishings, and a DIY for the lounge. Designing a big box, custom, contemporary kitchen and adjoining living area can be fun as well as functional.
We're starting with white, we're layering in accents of green and gray.
We've dealt with the walls, floors, and cabinetry, the fixed elements. Now comes layering in what we call soft goods.
Here's a window panel, ready-made, $50. Quite a nice fabric that I thought would tie in well.
It's a great fabric.
Side hems are done and top and bottom hems are done. So
Right.
we can just hem it one side to be the right length that we need.
Okay.
The question is, how do we want to hang these? Because if we want them to go right inside the bay window here,
Yeah.
one rod would have to go on this window, one rod on this window, and another rod on this window. And it means that when you pull the panels to the side, they'll never clear the windows perfectly. If we're trying to get maximum light in here, we're limiting it. Option 2 would be that we could get blinds made, which is going to get quite expensive, and when they pull up, we're still going to be cutting out part of this skylight view.
Right.
What if we took a rod and mounted it up here on the face?
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. When you're in a room that has low ceilings like this, we can mount the rod high, visually elevate the ceilings.
Before any drapes go up, though, we've got to get the right color. A cool, straight-up gray is a good start.
If you've got a room with no architectural interest, no exciting moldings, and nothing going for it, you've got to do something to draw attention and create some interest. So I decided to go with a wide stripe. If I just put it on the end walls, you'd be looking at one side, then the other. By putting it on one end wall, wrapping it across the ceiling and back down, carries your eye from one side of the room to the other.
The stripe also links back to the green we're using for some of the out-of-the-box kitchen cabinetry. And the showstopper counter is not only inexpensive, it's easy to install. The laminate can be modified on site, whereas marble or stone has to go back to the shop. And speaking of which, the lounge area needs accents to tie it back to the kitchen even more.
Check out this little baby. A lacquer table you can wipe. Perfect coffee table for kids with the rounded corners. And from $3.49 marked down to $2.99.
Also has a lower shelf. You can stack up books, or you can put a basket underneath that you can fill with toys, games, puzzles, whatever. I love the shiny chrome accent, like the wipeable white. Wrap it up and take it home.
Sold.
Are you hungry?
Yeah, always.
Do you want a bite of a nice juicy green apple?
How about them apples?
I love the gloss, I love the overscaled, bold nature of it. I like everything about those.
That ain't your grandma's waxed fruit.
I think they're coming home with us.
As easy as it is to pick up a few things, any room can benefit from some ingenuity.
Oh.
This custom wall clock is easy to make yourself. First, create the clock numbers in a standard word processing program. Varying the fonts adds interest. Email the font to a print shop. Just look for someone who makes business signs. They'll output your numbering onto vinyl adhesive, which is then die cut.
A little up on the left.
Use a level to adjust the number decals so they go on straight. Burnish the numbers by rubbing in small circles.
Does it ever make you wonder if we might be good at curling?
You can find a clock kit like this at your local craft store. And before you know it, you've got an original wall clock.
Nice.
Any room can benefit from a mix of vibrant and muted colors. The pendants make a strong statement that can be switched out easily, while the backsplash provides a more neutral fixed element.
If you're short on counter space, you just need to think about how to make the best of every possible inch. I found this terrific clip. By putting it close to the cooking surface, I now have the perfect spot to keep a recipe and still have all your countertop space free. It's easier to keep everybody in the household organized if you have a message board and a place where you can post invitations, schedules, and even kids' artwork. Here's what I found. A couple of great magnetic boards. Instead of putting them where you see them when you first walk in the kitchen, try and find an out-of-the-way spot. Like here, it's right beside the desk that I've installed. And the great thing about these is they can be hung horizontally or vertically for maximum flexibility.
This out-of-the-box custom kitchen and lounge are almost done.
Very nice.
Next, see how it all comes together.
This is amazing.
Designing your own out-of-the-box custom kitchen and unifying it with an adjoining lounge space takes patience and planning.
We need a really fresh idea here.
But if you go through it step by step as we have, you can do it. You can end up with a space you love.
Nice.
Ready to see what Vernon's kitchen looks like now?
This is amazing.
Wow.
Great kitchens aren't always about bigger space. Sometimes it's just about better usage. I didn't add a single inch of floor space to this kitchen. Instead, I just rejigged the storage.
This is a lot of storage space. I love it.
I think we've tripled the amount of storage space, and the overall look is cool, efficient, and functional.
It's really smart, but for me, smart's not good enough. You also have to be pretty. It's a beautiful kitchen.
Not every kitchen is big enough to accommodate a freestanding island, but I bet you can squeeze a peninsula in. Try for a dimension of 3 feet by 5 feet and see what it does to your storage and your counter space. You can never go wrong with an all-white kitchen, but sometimes it's fun to turn it up a notch and add some color. You can customize existing elements to get exactly what you want. Imagine it, any shade of the rainbow, and you can have it at home.
People tend to go hog wild on pot lights. Not smart and really expensive. So we chose a few pot lights, and then we let the rest be taken care of by the great vintage pendants.
Big impact doesn't always come from making big changes. By removing a small section of wall and by erecting a wall yet allowing the skylight to still shine through, we've taken 2 rooms, we've turned them into 1, and we've made it so that this room now has flow and consistency throughout.
Floors are the foundation of the room, so you've got to get them right. Lesson 1, if you want to make 2 rooms feel like one, you need to have just one singular flooring material. In this case, a porcelain floor tile that looks like concrete sets the right tone. My goal was to link the kitchen and the lounge. Instead of sourcing another piece of furniture, I opted to install just a little bit of cabinetry on one wall. I was able to create a desk, toy storage that's low down that kids can access, and a bar for the adults. It's a way to get 3 in 1 and create a linking element between the kitchen and the lounge. If you've only got a little space to use as your lounge and only a little money left in the budget, you can find inexpensive pieces. Try and look for ones that are more condo size, a little bit tailored, smaller in scale, and try and find pieces that also offer storage. Fabrics aren't the first thing that you think about when you're designing a kitchen, but every space needs a little softening. And if you think about kitchens, it tends to be in big blocks, solid chunks of color. So I'm always drawn to pattern to help break it up and add a little bit of interest. I wanted to show that a do-it-yourself project can be graphic, it can be simple. Check out the clock. I think it hits the right note for artwork.
Cooking in the new kitchen is a dream because now 2 of us can be in there doing things at the same time and not toppling over each other, which was a huge problem before.
It just flows so nicely now. I feel like I belong in that space.
Sarah and Tommy.
I think I get a bad rap sometimes for being a bit of a snob in terms of materials and products, but this is a go to the store and buy it off the rack kitchen, and it looks damn good.
Cool, contemporary, urban style doesn't always have to come with a high price tag. You can achieve it by using available elements, adding a little bit of a vintage vibe, and kicking it up a notch with color. This is how you take 2 rooms that aren't working and turn them into one fabulous kitchen lounge.
I love those buttons.
It's $800, so it's a little bit more than twice the price of what you might normally need to pay for a microwave.
Oh yeah, I've paid $99 for one before.
Did you ever think you'd say that a microwave is sexy?
It's
sexy.
great. I don't know if I go that far. It doesn't have a great hair